Blended learning is a mixture of online instruction, but also face-to-face instruction. It's collaboration, it is small groups, and then it's their online learning. I start with my standards, and so with my standards, I identify the goals that the kids need to achieve in order to meet mastery for that level. I'm then able to break apart the components that kids can work individually, components that they can work in small group, and then those components that they can actually do online or collaboratively. Kids receive their initial whole group lesson online. This gives them the ability to work at it at their own pace. So a lot of the vocabulary is defined for them during this time. They are given the breakdown of the components of what it is that they need to know, and then those structures therefore follows of how do I solve this thoroughly, and then they have that ability to keep going, slow it down or fast forward it because I understand it, I grasp it, and then moving forward. Simultaneously, students are pulled into small groups. During these small groups, they are getting the one-on-one instruction either on that presented material or material that's going to help them scaffold up into that material and to be successful for the week. And then we also have our collaboration where students will work together during this time. Mr. Smith is my co-teacher, and he has done a wonderful job at supporting all students. So he also services our some of our high students and our medium students, including those low students who are not on his caseload.
Blended learning meets all of those requirements of, if I didn't understand what was presented at the board, then I know that I'm gonna get another shot at it in a small group. Or that I know I'll get to practice it at independent work where I'm working at my desk by myself. It could be that I'm finishing that paper, and then when I come to do small group, I'm gonna bring that same paper, then I may get some questions answered then that I can't figure out on my own.
When there's two teachers, there's two different ways to learn. So Ms. Benjamin can tell you this way, Mr. Smith will tell you a different way, and you can see which way is easier.
You see a lot of students who feel secure in their learning. There's a lot less frustration phases for them because they know that, like, I'm gonna get it here online through my video lessons, but then I'm also going to get it in small groups. So there's enough support systems for them to feel like I'm in control of my own learning because I know that I can also come back to this. Whereas teaching regularly, when we have just a whole group lesson, students become confused because you tend to teach to the middle of the group. And this provides you that opportunity to no longer teach to the middle, but to teach to the individual needs of each student.
To me, blended learning is more like inclusion. You're including all the concepts and all the kids in this concept, so that it's not like a one-room schoolhouse. Everybody learns maybe at a different pace, but that's okay that you can go ahead.
I like working at my own pace, but you still have to manage your time.
I like to work at my own pace because I sometimes do things quicker.
In the beginning, I would suggest that you start off with something small that you have the kids watch while you're still managing their time, and not so much as you're still facilitating that time, but you're also monitoring the room. And then from there, you can have it to where you could pull maybe 2-3 students, and you can kind of continue to walk around the room and monitor the kids. And from there you move on to, okay, so let's try moving into an individual piece. And then you can add that let's work together component where there's a collaborative station. But it's definitely, if it's done in chunks and if it will be done correctly, it's not something that you need to dump inside the students' laps and just say, hey, we're gonna run with this and get started, because then you have to teach the students how to go through it. What are the expectations that you would like from them? What is it that I do when I'm finished? What is it that I do when I get stuck? And so you have to provide them with these guidelines, and so you wanna make sure that you have a full system. So in order to get it fully up and running, I'd say it's about 2 to 3 months for it to be a successful run of where the system starts to manage itself.